Thank you for joining us on the Diaspora this week. On the program today, we highlight 19 years of democracy in Nigeria as it relates to the Nigerian diaspora. Nigeria has just commemorated 19 years of the return of democracy since 1999. So, what is the relationship of the Nigerian diaspora and the Nigerian democratic practice? This is our focus today on the program. Welcome. I am Makut Simon Macham. Now let's begin with the interaction we had with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema, and the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Diaspora and Foreign Affairs. We engaged them to find out what their assessment is on the engagement of the Buhari administration with the Nigerian diaspora. This is what they said.
It's been very good. You know, Mr. President, traditionally, wherever he goes, he meets the Nigerian community. And in those meetings, they've all been very positive. They've really shown a greater belief in Mr. President and what he's doing. And it's so interesting to see that in those encounters, they've all been very keen to come back home. You know, they always asking Mr. President, how can we come home to help, you know, which means that they have bought in to the Buhari project for the country. And so that's very, you know, heartwarming, and it's been very good. But of course you have also dissidents, you know, who will seize the opportunities to push one cause or the other and complain. And what has impressed me and struck me is how tolerant and patient Mr. President has been with respect to even those minorities, I would say, who have been, you know, critical of him, and how he's been ready to, you know, sort of accept that as part of what it takes to govern a country. And, you know, as they say very often, a prophet sometimes is also not fully appreciated in his own country.
Mr. President has been able to put diaspora issues on the front burner. Everywhere he goes, he meets with Nigerians in the diaspora. And under his leadership, we have a diaspora policy, which is at the final stage of being put together. A diaspora commission law has been signed under his leadership. So the next thing is for the commission to be populated. So if we have a one-stop agency for diaspora, the Diaspora Commission, I mean, it's going to help, you know, being able to have more structured diaspora engagements and events. I mean, we're dealing with, you know, I would say some of the most powerful people in the world. You know, 22 billion naira remittances, you know, a majority of black doctors in America, in the Association of Black Doctors in America, are Nigerians, and so on and so forth. So with the commission, you can have a one-stop agency to deal with diaspora matters. At least, first step is, under his administration, we have a law that has been signed. Under his administration, we're coming up with a diaspora policy. So with these two, we're on the right track to dealing with diaspora matters. Under his administration, we brought back thousands of Nigerians stranded in Libya. He gave that instruction, he gave that directive, and we went and made sure we succeeded. And today, you can see that even the issue of human trafficking will be reducing under his administration. We brought them back. They are being reintegrated into the society, and, you know, a lot of massive awareness that it's not worth going on these dangerous journeys, you know. And then, you know what, there are things, you know, to do. And we're glad that some of those coming back are getting engaged. And you'll be surprised, there's one of them who just went to learn how to bake and how to make things, and she's having a good story to tell. So you don't have to go to all these dangerous places. It's not worth the risk. So President Buhari has also been able to succeed in that regard and ensure that, you know, that these are challenging times, but we will work at it, and we have no other place than Nigeria, and together we'll work and build the Nigeria of our dreams.
Now, to find out what the Nigerian diaspora thinks about 19 years of unbroken democratic rule after it was returned in 1999, we interacted with some of them. First, we spoke with a former diplomat, Dr. Olusegun Ejegbami, who was in South Korea. We talked to him about Nigeria's democracy 19 years after. This is what he had to say.
Nigerians outside there are always impatient. Whenever they see anything that does not reflect what they are enjoying, they are very, very fast in making criticism, and they are right too, because we have enough resource in Nigeria to bring a better life to Nigerians, even more than what they are enjoying. South Korea, for example, they need about 40 to 50,000 megawatts of electricity, but they are generating 70,000. So at any point in time, they have 20,000 in excess, and they want to move that 70,000 now to 90,000 by 2020. So what are we doing? How can you not be angry when there you stay 4 years? There is no single second that you suffer electricity loss. But you arrive in Nigeria, on the arrival at the airport, at the airport you don't have electricity, and the whole system begins to reflect what can make you angry. Or even when you watch the comments about developments at home, they are very impatient. So I think humanly speaking, you should give that to them. But what they should do is to help the Nigerian government, wherever you are, whatever you think it's what is happening there that should happen in Nigeria, bring that knowledge to government. If you think somebody is attacking the Buhari administration as a foreigner where you stay, and you keep quiet or you join them, you don't fit to make a comment. So if you see anything that is against the Nigerian government, I expect you to bring that knowledge to the government of Nigeria and say, this is what is happening. I can see the following happening, and then bringing it to Nigeria. I see them packaging fake products here. I see them packaging human beings as beef. This is how it is named and numbered. I see them using dead bodies to make capsules in the following manner. There are so many things that they are doing now against Africa. I see them printing fake currencies, and they are bringing it to all the countries in Africa to destroy our economy. Anything you see that is dangerous and is bad for Africa, you may not be able to do it yourself. You take it to the government. You might even go to the embassy, the nearest embassy, and tell them, this is what some people are doing against our economy. So the knowledge to sustain this country belongs to everyone. It is not just the government alone or the people that are in the embassies alone. Every Nigerian, everywhere you are found, you must be concerned about the welfare of Nigeria. Did you find Ebola where you are staying? And are they sending people across by aircraft or by boat to come and spread it in Nigeria? And you are the only Nigerian who have seen this. I expect you to alert the government. So Nigerians must work, with the home government. Whether you are abroad or you are on flight traveling, you must be concerned about how does it reflect on Nigeria. Even your character is enough as a product of diplomacy. That how do you behave to sell Nigeria as a good country, to give the impression to the world that this is a great country. Do you sell Nigeria as a begging country or a stealing country? I was in a hotel one time with about 150 Nigerians, and they said there was a bill of about some amount that someone did not pay, and they said it must have been a Nigerian. It was a United Nations assignment. And I said, no, I'll pay it because I don't know anything about it, but Nigerian's name must not be stained. And eventually, the person that made the call owned up that he was, and they were wondering, and you didn't make this call and you accepted to pay. I said, that's how I do it. That's how I do my work. Anywhere I see the name of Nigeria being tarnished, I'd rather pay the price to make sure that the name of Nigeria is sustained positively than to join them to mess it up.
You find a lot of frustration, like you mentioned earlier, with Nigerians out there. Things are not going right and so on and so forth. But then the hurdle is that they cannot directly participate in selecting those who now, or electing those who now run the show. So how can this issue be resolved?
Well, like I said earlier, if you are in a particular country as a Nigerian and you can see that a lot of voting takes place electronically, whether you are resident in a particular region or not, or you can even see Americans who are resident in your host country voting for the American government. You can see Namibians who are resident in your country voting for the Namibian government. You can begin to ask, what do you do to be able to do this? What type of technology are you using? What type of bandwidth do you use to be able to catch this information? If you have all that, it's good for the Nigerian government to know that it is possible for diaspora people to vote, because where you are, this is taking place. The Nigerian government does not have all the information about what is taking place worldwide. And so we must partner with Nigerian government to begin to improve the system gradually. If INEC, for example, is able to use laptops and desktop and the rest to begin to conduct election. They do it electronically, no matter how crude it is. We expect that there should be a transformation from the previous election to the next election, or an upgrade. They shouldn't even come with the same laptop, because a laptop after 6 months is already gone.
Our next interaction on the diaspora was with a Nigerian in the United States, Professor Peter Agbese. He is a professor of political science back in the United States. Now, he spoke about the 3 years of Buhari administration and particularly addressed the issue of terrorism. Here's the interaction with him.
When the military was leaving in 1999, Nigerians coined a phrase to describe their expectations: democracy dividends. This was the expectation that the return to civil rule will improve people's material conditions. That has not really happened. There are still too many hungry people in Nigeria. There are still too many jobless people in Nigeria. The infrastructure is still in terrible shape. The roads, although efforts are being made in some cases, electricity supply used to be quite epileptic. It has improved significantly. And even though I've lived in the US since 1980, I come to Nigeria often, and I see a quantum improvement in electricity supply. So there are certain things that have improved. Certain things have actually gotten worse. As an educator, I'm alarmed at the deteriorating condition of education in Nigeria, not just at the primary school level, secondary school level, tertiary level, particularly at the university level. It's really atrocious what's going on Nigerian university campuses. But I'm happy that unlike 2015, when Boko Haram was controlling 13 local governments, the equivalent of Belgium, today that's no longer the case. Boko Haram doesn't control any Nigerian territory. Boko Haram, it's on the run. It still has the capacity to inflict violence, death, destruction, but it's certainly not the military juggernaut that it was in 2015.
What so do you think this administration in particular has done right in changing the narrative of what used to be prior to 2015?
The administration has done so many things along that front. Let's remember, the president campaigned on 3 planks. 1, insecurity, with the promise to wipe out Boko Haram. Secondly, to tackle corruption. And thirdly, to provide employment. I would say for the first 2, that is tackling insecurity and corruption, the administration has done fairly well. It hasn't had the same success with respect to employment. There are still too many young people unemployed in this country. But in terms of providing security, new challenges have emerged, particularly the so-called herdsmen violence, which I think we should properly qualify as terrorism. But on the other hand, the way Boko Haram has been dealt with, it's quite magnificent. A number of things the administration did right. 1, the president took it very seriously, unlike the Jonathan administration that viewed Boko Haram as a conspiracy by Northerners to deprive him of the presidency, particularly when the Chibok girls were abducted. President Jonathan did not believe that abduction had actually taken place. He thought it was a ruse. Unlike Jonathan, President Buhari came in knowing how serious the issue of Boko Haram was. One of the first things he did was to change the service chiefs, to appoint new military commanders, to order the military to move operational headquarters to Maiduguri, the epicenter of Boko Haram attacks. New arms and ammunition have been provided to the soldiers. The morale of our soldiers is much higher now than it was in 2015. And instead of Nigerian soldiers now running away at the sight of Boko Haram, it's Boko Haram that is running away from Nigerian soldiers. Also, going into an alliance with Cameroon, Niger, Chad, and Republic of Benin was a smart move, because Boko Haram, it's a regional issue and it must be tackled regionally.
Well, it's that time that we bring you our Diasporan of the Week, where we look at achievers in the diaspora. Here is our Diasporan of the Week.
Eze Ebuka Onunkwo was born in Anambra State, southeast Nigeria. Coming from a humble background, Ebuka departed for Cotonou in Benin Republic in search of greener pastures shortly after secondary education.
That has been a while ago, since 24 years ago. I started my business life in Benin Republic. In search of greener pasture, I found myself there, and I find it very comfortable for me to do business and all the rest.
In Benin Republic, he got his hands dirty, starting from a small beginning, doing business which grew steadily.
I have my business in Republic of Benin, and having been there for a good number of years, I've been paying my taxes and helping people. I have an organization that, a sort of foundation that helps the needy. The employment I created there, the host country, the people of Republic of Benin, Togo, Nigerians, they are benefiting from the employment, the job I've created there. So I think, you know, Benin Republic is a country that has a lot to do with taxation, because they don't have much of mineral resources like Nigeria that have petrol. So we do pay our taxes, and that is what is keeping us till today. If not, they will show you a way out.
The true Nigerian spirit of enterprise and frugality propelled his company to an international brand, employing hundreds of Nigerians and foreigners. While success came his way, Eze Ebuka Onunkwo did not close his eyes to the poor and needy as he engaged in philanthropic activities in Benin Republic. He has not forgotten his root and background, as he also gives scholarship back home in Nigeria to many indigent students, as well as job opportunities to thousands.
Some people some people have passion for helping people, intervening when somebody is truly in need, the indigent ones. And I think it is part of my passion, doing that to people. It gives me joy, because when I remember my history, where I was coming from, I deem it fit to, help in contributing to the masses, to the community. For example, today, I can say it's about 10 years now, or 9 years, yeah, since I have been paying the school fees for the secondary school in my town. I gave them scholarships since 2009. Both their WAEC and NECO fees, school fees, everything. I've been doing that till date. And other incentives that we help in encouraging the students to learn. Because I know education is power. I don't want in my town to have any person that will say he didn't attend secondary school because of school fees. So I take it upon myself to ensure that everybody from that town at least have that minimum basic education of secondary school. So it gives me joy, and I keep on doing it. And with that, God is still providing.
At the age of 33 in 2003, Ebuka was found worthy to be crowned Ezendibo Cotonou, the Igbo leader.
And as a result, I am a member of Traditional Ruling Council of Republic of Benin, which is first of its kind. The first time a stranger was made a member of that, the decision-making body of the traditional rulers. And with that status, it helps me in making peace between my Nigerian brothers and sisters and the Beninese. Instead of going much to the police for one misunderstanding or the other, in our circle of traditional rulers, we can invite them and make sure that there is peace and harmony. We have been doing that for years. I've been in Benin to the extent that even the citizens of Benin, yes, they might have some problem and need to come to me to help them in solving it in the Republic of Benin. Mm-hmm. Even though, yes, I mean the citizens of that country. So when you are a person of integrity, you can make waves anywhere you are, no matter if you are in a foreign country or in a host country, or in your real country. My advice is that everybody, all hands must be on deck in making Nigeria great. This industrialization of Nigeria should not be a one-man business. If you allow government to create employment for all the teeming youth, unemployed youth in Nigeria, it can be possible. Let all of us come back home, help in creating employment so that we will clear the street of those jobless graduates. You know, many are afraid of coming because of maybe issue of power, electricity, which is one of the cankerworm that is setting backwards the companies or industries in Nigeria. But in my own thought, I say if some other people are in Nigeria making it, let me come and join hands. If they are losing, let us lose. If we are gaining, let us gain. But as I can assure you, there is no way we are going to lose.
For his industry, philanthropy and good representation of the Nigerian brand in Benin Republic, Eze Ebuka Onunkwo is our Diasporan of the week.
Next on the program is Diaspora News. Diaspora News is where we bring you highlights of news about Nigerians around the world. Diaspora News is next on the program. Nigerians in the diaspora are reported to remit over $22 billion to the economy annually, mostly to families. As the investment drive of the nation continues to gain momentum, more Nigerians in the diaspora want to be part of the development of the economy through investment windows.
So if we can organize this investment summit and attract investors, Nigerian investors who are all over the world, to come and add something, come and invest in something in Nigeria, all the sectors are available. We can always do better. We can improve, and we're responsible for our own country. So let us come together and improve our own country, not leave it to other people to do for us. And they have the capability, they have the technical capability, they have the financial capability.
This is what the meeting between the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Diaspora and Foreign Affairs, Abuja Erewa, and the Nigerian Diaspora Alumni Network, NIDAN, is all about. Abuja Erewa assures that the Buhari administration is keen on making Nigerians in the diaspora a driver of foreign investment into the country.
We're going to work with you to have a very, very successful Nigeria Diaspora Investment Summit, which will be put together by diaspora groups to work with the Nigerian government to ensure that every Nigerian who is interested in Nigeria will invest in Nigeria.
The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has awarded a Medal of Honor to a Nigerian peacekeeper, Olufumilayo Amodu, serving with the UN Stabilization Mission in Mali for her outstanding service. The medal is an acknowledgement of the contribution of Nigeria to UN peacekeeping operations to ensure global peace and security. The decoration was part of activities to honor the service and sacrifice of peacekeepers around the world to mark the 2018 International Day of UN Peacekeepers. The news agency of Nigeria reports that the UN is honoring 3 fallen Nigerian peacekeepers at an event at the UN headquarters in New York. The National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, has raised an alarm that there are plans by human traffickers to use the World Cup as a ploy to traffic Nigerian youths abroad. NAPTIP DG Julie Okadonli at a press conference in Abuja said already these traffickers have continued to mount pressure on some youths and their parents, forcing them to part with huge sums of money in exchange for Russian visa. She said part of the plot was to float unregistered football supporters club, unofficial government delegations, as well as unregistered youth bodies. And of course, Diaspora News brings us to the end of the program this week. We thank you very much for being with us. We invite you again to join us next time for another edition. On behalf of the rest of the production team, my name is Makut Simon Macham, thanking you again for being with us. Bye for now.